Okay, so this is for my real estate and my mortgage listeners. And I want you to listen very, very carefully. For your real estate people, there is a true fine line division between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. Let me explain this to you, because I have so many agents come up saying, this person's horrible, my loan officer's horrible, I need to do this, I need to do that, they can't do this, they can't do that. Some of the problem is you. Some of the problem is the consumer. Some of the problem is this, proactive versus reactive. So, let me explain this to you. Every real estate agent wants to go to their loan officer and say, 5 minutes, I want a pre-qualification because I want to go show my house. That's your mandatory piece. And your loan officer is pinned up against the wall going, okay, if I don't do it, you're going to go somewhere else to do it, so let me do it. I'm going to explain to you the pre-qualification process. It's pretty much a verbal approval is what it comes down to. So I'm going to take everything over the phone. I'm going to take a verbal commitment on how much money you make, how long you've been at your job, what your assets are, so on and so forth. And we'll either do a soft pull or a single bureau most of the time, and just find out what the snapshot of your credit looks like and says, is this person somewhat credit worthy? Yes or no, and I'll look up the guidelines and say, okay, you know what? Great, here's a pre-approval. I can get that done in 15 minutes. That's a pre-qualification. Okay? You understand that. That's a pre-qualification. Let me tell you my 3-2 requirement. 2 pay stubs, 2 tax returns, and 2 bank statements. Once the consumer provides that to the lender and has all that proof of there in there, then we can go into a full approval. We can get it underwritten, we can get the income, the assets, everything else underwritten, get the full credit worthiness of the consumer, and at that time we're just waiting to find out if the property is financeable, appraisal, LTVs, so on and so forth. So again, a pre-qualification is more of a verbal promise of a consumer saying, this is how much money I make. It's like the old stated loans. That's pretty much all it is on the phone. Okay? The next step is getting that income documentation. Now, I want to talk to my loan officers. The minute you issue that pre-qualification, it is now your job for you or your LOA, your loan officer assistant, if you don't have one, you are one, to be able to talk to the consumer and start obtaining the financial documents that we just talked about, the 3-2s. Because here's the thing. The minute you get the 3-2s in your hand, you have over an 80% chance that that person is going to choose you as your lender, because they're not going to go give their income and bank statements and tax returns to 12 different mortgage companies. They might shop you around for rate. That's based on a pre-qualification, a soft pull, single bureau. But they're not going to submit all their financial income. I personally, when I coach mortgage, I tell people pre-qualifications don't mean anything to me. The minute I receive income statements, you can put that on your board as you're a borrower. Okay? Which means somebody ready, willing, and able to buy a house in the next 30 days. That's the commitment that we have. If you were just sitting there all day long spitting out 5 to 10 pre-qualifications, that's your fault. You're failing yourself, and you're not servicing your agent the way that they need to be serviced. They don't know mortgage, you do. That's your job. And that's why I'm doing this to the world. So the real estate agents understand it also. Real estate agents, it would behoove you to also talk to the consumer and say, great, I got the pre-qualification. Now sign the exclusivity and we're going to go show you houses. But in the meantime, make sure you're sending in the 3-2s. 2 pay stubs, 2 tax returns, and 2 bank statements. Make sure you get that into the lender so we can get you from a pre-qualification to a pre-approval. Big, big difference. You don't want a deal falling out the minute you have a pre-qualification, you're putting the EMD down, you go over and over on a bid war, you finally get the acceptance on the house, and you go and you find out your borrower's not qualified. You just wasted all your time, and you really upset the consumer because they feel they're pre-qualified and you accepted just a pre-qualification. Make that to the next step and get a pre-approval. I want to see income, I want to see assets, I want to make sure the credit worthiness. Again, If you don't want a pre-qualification and you want a pre-approval, don't force your lender into giving it to you in 5 minutes. Tell them that you want a full approval before you'll go show somebody a house, or before you make an offer. Go show somebody a house on a pre-qual, but you won't make an offer without a pre-approval. And that gives them a day or two to be able to get that income statements. Almost every consumer can obtain all 3 of those in the digital world today within 24 to 48 hours. It's not that hard. So if you want to make sure you get paid on every deal that you write, you want to make sure you get paid on every person you put in your car, and loan officers, you want to make sure you get paid on every relationship you have with your realtors, serve them better. Don't just do the pre-quals and sit on your hands waiting for the contract to come in. You need to take a proactive approach to be able to obtain the financial information to get them into the pre-approval status. If I am working with a consumer and I get them pre-approved, and another loan officer is working with them and they're pre-qualified, and I've got everything already underwritten and you don't have anything but stated, which one has the most powerful borrower? Me or you? So who would the real estate agent rather do business with? Me or you? Do you see the difference? That's a stackable value proposition. And make sure you're keeping the realtor updated along the lines. Hey, I just need to let you know, I gave Mrs. Johnson the pre-qualification last Thursday. Today's Wednesday. I've asked her for those income documents and I haven't received anything. That usually lets you know it's a flight risk, she can't prove it, and is it worth showing houses? Okay? So I know this one was a little bit long, but this is very, very important that you understand both sides of the fence on how you two can work together and make sure both of you get paid. Okay? So that's the difference between a pre-qual and a pre-approval. Make sure you're getting the pre-approvals and make sure you're working directly with the loan officer and the realtor hand in hand on a proactive, not a reactive approach. God bless. Talk to you next week.